everyone, and welcome back to my channel. We are reading the EZRA, the book of EZRA. So let's get started. So today we're going to be reading EZRA 5:1 through 6:22. So we're actually covering like 2 chapters at a time, and so it doesn't seem like it's too long. So let's get started. EZRA 5. Tatanay's letter to Darius. The prophets Haggai and Zechariah, a descendant of Iddo, prophesied to the Jewish people in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel, who is over them. Then Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, son of Jozadak, started working again to rebuild the temple of God in Jerusalem, and the prophets of God were there helping them. At that time, Tatanay, the governor of Trans-Euphrates, and Shethar-Bozenai and their fellow workers went to the Jewish people and asked, "Who gave you permission to rebuild this temple and fix these walls?" They also asked, "What are the names of the men working on this building?" But their God was watching over their older leader of the Jewish people. The builders were not stopped until a report could go to King Darius, and his written answer could be received. This is a copy of the letter that was sent to King Darius by Tatanay, the governor of Trans-Euphrates, Shethar-Bozenai, and other important officers of Trans-Euphrates. This is what was said in the report they sent to him. To King Darius, greetings, may you have peace. King Darius, you should know that we went to the district of Judah where the temple of the great God is. The people are building that temple with large stones, and they are putting timbers in the walls. They are working very hard and are building very fast. We asked their older leaders who gave you permission to rebuild these temples and these walls. We also asked for their names, and we wrote them down. The names of their leaders, you would know who they are. This is the answer they gave us. We are the servants of God of heaven and earth. We are rebuilding the temple that a great king of Israel built and finished many years ago. But our ancestors made the God of heaven angry, so he handed them over to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, who destroyed this temple and took the people to Babylon as captive. Later, in the first year Cyrus was king of Babylon, he gave a special order for this temple to be rebuilt. Cyrus bought out from the temple at Babylon the gold and silver bowls and pans that came from the temple of God. Nebuchadnezzar had taken them from the temple in Jerusalem and had put them in the temple in Babylon. Then King Cyrus gave to Sheshbazzar, his appointed governor. Cyrus said to him, "Take these golds and silver bowls and pans and put them back in the temple in Jerusalem and rebuild the temples of God where it was." So Sheshbazzar came and laid the foundation of the temple of God in Jerusalem. From that day until now the work has been going on, but it is not yet finished. Now, if the king wishes, let a search be made in the royal records of Babylon. See if King Cyrus gave an order to rebuild this temple in Jerusalem. Then let the kings write us and tell us what he has decided. The order of Darius. So King Darius gave an order to search the records kept in the treasury in Babylon. A scroll was found in Ecbatana, the capital city of Media. This is what was written on it. Note: King Cyrus gave an order about the temple of God in Jerusalem in the first year he was king. This was the order: let the temple be rebuilt as a place to present sacrifices. Let its foundation be laid. It should be 90 feet high and 90 feet wide. It must have 3 layers of large stones and then 1 layer of timbers. The cost should be paid from the king's treasury. The gold and silver utensils from the temple of God should be put back in their places. Nebuchadnezzar took them from the temple in Jerusalem and brought them to Babylon, but they are to be put back in the temple of God in Jerusalem. Now then, Dedene, governor of Trans-Euphrates, Shethar-Bozenai, and all the officers of that area, stay away from there. Do not bother the work of that temple of God. Let the governor of the Jewish people and the older Jewish leader rebuild this temple where it was before. Also, I order you to do this for those older leaders of the Jewish people who are building this temple. The cost of the building is to be fully paid from the royal treasury, from taxes collected from Trans-Euphrates. Do this so the work will not stop. Give those people anything they need: young bulls, male sheep, or lambs for burnt offerings to the God of heaven, or wheat, salt, wine, or olive oil. Give the priests in Jerusalem anything they ask for every day without fail. Then they offer sacrifices pleasing to the God of heaven, and they may pray for the life of the king and his sons. Also I give this order: if anyone changes this order, a wood beam is to be pulled from his house and driven through his body. Because of his crime, make his house a pile of ruins. God has chosen Jerusalem as the place he is to be worshipped. May he punish any king or person who tries to change this order and destroy this temple. I, Darius, have given this order. Let it be obeyed quickly and carefully. So Dedene, the governor of Trans-Euphrates, Shethar-Bozenai, and their fellow workers carried out King Darius's order quickly and carefully. The older Jewish leader continued to build and were successful because of the preaching of Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah, a descendant of Iddo. They finished building the temple as the God of Israel had commanded, and Kings Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes of Persia had ordered. The temple was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar in the 6th year Darius was king. Then the people of Israel celebrated and gave the temple to God and to honor him. Everybody was happy, the priests, the Levites, and the rest of the Jewish people who had turned from captivity. They gave the temple to God by offering 100 bulls, 200 male sheep, and 400 lambs as sacrifices. And as an offering to forgive the sins of Israel, they offered 12 male goats, 1 goat for each tribe in Israel. Then they put the priests and the Levites into the separate groups. Each group had a certain time to serve God in the temple at Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. The Passover is celebrated. The Jewish people who returned from captivity celebrated the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. The priests and Levites had made themselves clean. Then the Levites killed the Passover lamb for all the people who had returned from captivity, for their relatives, the priests, and for themselves. So all the people of Israel who returned from captivity ate Passover lamb. So did the people who had given up unclean ways of their non-Jewish neighbor in order to worship the Lord the God of Israel. For 7 days they celebrated the feast of unleavened bread in a very joyful way. The Lord had made them happy by changing the mind of the king of Assyria, so that he helped them in the work on the temple of God of Israel. Life lesson. Situation. The Gentiles in the area of Judah and Jerusalem tried to block the rebuilding of the temple, but God used elders and prophets to secure permission to resume building. Observation. God's influence supersedes the actions of secular authorities to accomplish his desires. Inspiration. Nowadays, much of the time, life seems to have gone out of control. Several nations have the nuclear bomb, and several more will be developing it soon. History seems senseless. Men kill in order others to kill. Armies destroy and hurt. World leaders seem to do Satan's will. And Christians may wonder if God has lost control of his world. He has not. Although Satan is the prince of the world, John 12:31, he has been judged and condemned, John 16:11. God is sovereign over all men and nations, all must make a final account with him. At the time of the final reckoning, every problem, personal and national, will be set right. But as for now, evil is a terrible thing. But until it's destroyed, life will sometimes appear out of control. The trouble is that evil has burrowed into the human personality. It is in all of us. We don't always act in the best interest of others. Feeling coerced by the political system, or by what others will think of us, or by what the values of those around us, we surrender our Christian freedom and choose to do what we know is wrong. At the end of World War II, the world was horrified to discover that brilliant men with PhDs could build gas chambers. Their level of intelligence had nothing to do with their ability to choose to do right. One military leader after another at the Nuremberg trials destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore the law is paralyzed and justice never prevails. The wicked hem in the righteous so that justice is perverted. But Habakkuk had faith that in the end the Lord will save his people. He described the future day of judgment when you came out to deliver your people. And he proclaimed his faith that God is in control in spite of appearances. No matter how things look, we can have faith that God will never abandon his world. He is always sovereign in this universe. From God is in Control by Calvin Miller in Practical Christianity. Application. Governmental leaders, whether or not they are Christians, need our support. Do you honor those in government? Don't be quick to cut them down. Pray regularly for those in position of authority. I think about also people in authority, not just with the government, just people in our authority of our workplace. When we have a boss that to look up to. We may not always agree with what they're doing, and what they're doing is not always the right thing to do. I feel like we all do need to pray for God to just be able to help us clear our mind and help us focus into believing that it's gonna work itself out. He's gonna be there at the end, as bad as it looks, around us, as bad as things can look. I think I've said it before, it's like the journey. There's a journey involved in this, and throughout the journey, God wants us to hang on, keep the faith, grow the faith. I think if we didn't have obstacles in our lives, we wouldn't reach out to God as often. We would feel more in control of our lives, and that's not what God is. God is the one that's in control. So I pray that you guys, that God will fill your hearts and open up your minds and be able to see something past the ugliness of people that are around you that you might not agree with, or that are hard or stubborn, that are difficult people to deal with. I just pray that in your heart you would be able to see something past that, see beyond that strong personality, and in that strong personality, in that leader that makes mistake, is a little boy, is a little girl that is hurting too. We are all hurting. May God give you patience and give you a perception of that it's not what it looks like. It's not what it's, whatever situation it may be, someone's hurting. And they hurt, usually people hurt people because they're already hurt at the inside. So pray, keep praying for it. Pray. So thank you again for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it and found it helpful for you in some way. And we will continue this EZRA, and we'll see you